we all know what happened there, and we want to just talk of these games into our last game, okay? So let's start with Chris. The game against Burnley, which was our game in hand. What was your take? We won 1-0. Pogba goal.
Yeah, it was a real grind because when you play Burnley, they take you to a different kind of level of playing football. So they were really tested to the full in terms of physical capacity. You could see that in the game. But what impressed me the most was the balance of the team was right. They had Matic there in defensive midfield, and also Bay was playing, I believe, in that game.
Yeah.
So they were much more solid in terms of the central area of the pitch, and there was also that pace from Bay. In general, I'd say they played well. I'd say they did play well, and the play overall improved in the second half. And I could say that I could say that they did deserve to win that game. In some aspects, there was still lacking full control of the game because there were some points where Burnley were making it very, very uncomfortable, and Man United was still trying to just not hanging in there, but just about doing enough in order to suppress their physicalness. But in general, I thought Man United, they had a good game then. They had a good game. It was good. I was really happy that they had Matic in there. Pogba played well. It was more or less the strongest team that they could possibly have. I still believe that Telles is a better fullback than Shaw. I'm still not a fan of Shaw. Wan-Bissaka needs to work on his attacking play, and the Rashford, he needs to improve a lot. He didn't have too great of a game, and also, it was the same for Martial as well. But all in all, I would say, I was happy with the game overall for that. They done well. They done well.
Yeah. All right. Ben, step in there quickly. Don't be just summarize that Burnley game. We won 1-0. Pogba scoring the winner from a Rashford cross.
Yeah, again, that was a grind, man. As said before, Burnley is the type of team that they're gonna play. Burnley's gonna play physical. They play a lot of up through balls, and you're gonna have to be able to grind. I mean, it's not a nice game playing against Burnley. They're gonna sit back and defend. And then the moment that they get a chance, they're just gonna hit just long through balls to what's his name? I think is Wood and their other striker. They're two center forwards, flat 4-4-2. And it's like they say, they play in what's his name? Sean Dyche's image, or the way his personality. That's the way they play. But it was a good performance by us. It took that nice assist and that great goal from Pogba. For a moment, I'm not gonna lie to you, I almost thought that we weren't gonna win the game, but I think when we just kept pressing them and just kept applying that pressure, it finally broke through. So overall, it was a good performance by the team, and you can tell that the team is having that mentality. That mentality this season is what's being the difference between these 1-0 wins and 2-1 wins. Because if you look at us, these games last season, we wouldn't have won. So I think it's really the mentality, and then the guys, Bruno, Pogba, they've had more games together. They definitely can play in that midfield together, and it's gelling. So I just hope that this mentality keeps going on, because that's the big difference this season that I see is the mentality. They have a strong mentality, and they just keep pushing through.
All right. So, thank you. Richard, Man United Burnley.
I think it was a very difficult game overall. Burnley, to be honest, they don't make it easy for us. They're a very physical team. Like Ben said, they like to sort of play in his philosophy. So the way how they set up it was to nullify our attacking threat. But United have very big players, who can sort of, sorry?
Ashley Barnes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we have players who can step up in these type of occasions, and Pogba, you know, he stepped up when it really mattered, and to the top of the league. And I think this is one of the key things that I say about Ollie. He's got a lot of quality players at his disposal. So these players, I believe, get him out of jail a lot of the time. If Ollie was managing a team like Arsenal or some, another team, I think that these guys would really be struggling, you know. But Ollie has an abundance of talent around him to bail him out. But look, I'm not going to take anything away from Ollie. You know, the mentality is there with the team. We ground out a result, and like last season or the season before, we might not have got that win, but the fact that we won 1-0, winning ugly sometimes leads to titles in the long run. So this is very encouraging. I think we were very solid at the back. I think Bailey and Maguire. I think Bailey complements Maguire. I prefer a Lindelof Bailey partnership, but it looks like the way that Ollie wants to set up is with Maguire and Bailey.
Lindelof.
Yeah, I mean, look, Maguire has his deficiencies, but in that game with Bailey, they were very solid. I do think that Rashford and Martial had poor games, like Chris said. Rashford did get the assist, which is good, but I just do think that these two really need to step up. Rashford needs to improve with his decision making. I think the past few games he's let the team down with his decision making, and Martial, he seems out of sorts this season. And we're used to saying that Martial is a youngster. He's a kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's 25, and he just needs to go up a gear. And I'm not seeing that this season. Hopefully it will change, but the game against Burnley, I was very disappointed. Yeah.
All right, Joe, are you there with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, quickly talk about the Burnley game, quickly.
Really, I thought it was a really good game. That lineup, I feel like that's our strongest lineup. Moving forward, solid game. Yeah, Burnley, we're always going to beat Burnley. They're a very disciplined defensive team. Basically, we're going to try to sit back and then hit us on the counter. Like I was saying with the formation, loved it. I think it's our strongest. We're firing on all cylinders. Defensively, we shut them down. Midfield, seems like we pretty much Ole has like his midfield that he knows that he can depend on. Maybe two forms of it. The one with Pogba being aggressively forward and the one with Pogba maybe staying back a little bit. That's positive. We just, our forwards just need to click too. We're having two of our forwards, our main guys, our main targets, kind of having it a little shaky right now with Martial and Rashford. If those two can just get their decision making good to go, and Bruno's had a couple of stinkers, but if they can just stay focused with that, I think we can definitely challenge for definitely the challenge for the league title. Just like Ben said, and usually if we were in this position last season, I would not feel confident about us. But that mentality, us shutting teams down like Burnley, a team like Burnley would have scored on us in the 85th minute last season. A team like Burnley, Ole might have started Pogba alongside McTominay, but Pogba, the form and the tactics, then I'm saying, yes, it's not the greatest, right? It's not pep. It doesn't have a lot of spice to it, but it's getting results and it's good football from time to time. It's not the best. It's not Mourinho or it's not Van Gaal football. It's better, and I'll take it. I'm along for the ride. Okay, I don't know where we're going. I don't know where Ole's taking this bus, but hey, man, I got my bus pass. All right, so that's it. That's how I feel about that game. I got my ticket.
Thank you, Joe. Right, our next game was the big game at Anfield, league champions against current league holders. Bames, what was your take on that game? The game ended 0-0. Could United have done better, or that 1 point was just justified?
Well, the 1 point was justified. We were sloppy on the attack. Our passes forward were real sloppy. And I said this before. Ole set us up to get a draw. That's clear. I mean, again, if you look at the ball possession and that, I mean, we sat back and we soaked up pressure, man. But the thing about it is that Liverpool couldn't. I think Liverpool could have played for another 2 days and they wouldn't score. So that's the positive, because they just looked like they just couldn't score. But in my opinion, I think we had the better chance towards the end of the game. I think the 80th minute, I think the last 10 minutes of the game,
yes,
with the chances of Pogba and Bruno. If you ask me, yes, the draw is deserved, but I think we could have gotten 3 points in that game. We could have, if we were a little bit, if our passes going forward were not sloppy. I think we would have. And then the big thing that really pissed me off was Rashford. Rashford takes that ball to a blind alley. Cavani is making a run. All you gotta do is slide Cavani in, and this game is, I mean, Cavani scores that goal. That's 1-on-1. I put my money on Cavani scoring that goal 8 times out of 10. I mean, come on, like, and again, that's the thing about Rashford. He needs to improve his decision making in the final 30. He does that a lot. So I think if Rashford puts that pass to Cavani, I think we would have won, in my opinion. So yeah, a 1 was well deserved against Liverpool. But then you turn around, and then a couple of days ago, Liverpool played Burnley, and they lose 1-0. So if you're like, okay, yeah, we beat Burnley, but I think we gave Liverpool too much respect. In my opinion, we gave them just a little bit too much respect, because they didn't look like they were going to score at all. Like, I mean, defensively, we were on point. We just were sloppy going forward. I don't know, the guys were scared or just nervous. I don't know, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on that game, man.
Chris, Man United Liverpool 0-0.
I'd say it was a deserved draw. Like what Bem said, they could have sneaked it near the end of the game. But initially, when I saw the lineup, I was not impressed at all. I actually thought they were going to lose that game.
Wow, because of Lindelof?
Lindelof, yes, and also McTominay midfield with Fred. I was not impressed with that lineup. The thing that was really puzzled me was the way he was using Pogba. I thought that was very disrespectful. I don't know about you guys.
Right.
You have a guy who's been there, who's won elite trophies, who's won the World Cup, and he's playing him on the right of the midfield, tracking back like a right back. I thought that was very disrespectful. I mean, to me, you should have played Matic in that game. But it is what it is. The game, they got a draw in the game, but I would have started up with a different lineup. The lineup just didn't make any sense to me. But the key, sorry? Did someone say something? Yeah, the key take for me was that Liverpool they were just lacking something in the attacking third.
Yeah.
They were lacking something in the attacking third, and it's been ongoing for a while with them. But and you could see in this game that, like what Bem said, this game could have gone on and on and on for a long time, and Liverpool wouldn't have scored. But you take the points, and I still have to question Solskjaer with some of the decisions that he was making in terms of the tactics. But yeah, they got away with it. But it's a long marathon, isn't it? So it's a marathon. So we're going to see what happens further down the line. But all in all, the game was dour. But Man United did what they had to do, and they got the point. Which, I'll give him his dues for that. But again, I'll still have my drawbacks when it comes to Solskjaer. I'm not going to lie about that. No. I still have my drawbacks.
Richard, Man United Liverpool.
I thought that the game didn't live up to the billing in terms of the hype. Like Ben said, it was very clear that Ole set up to get a draw. He said before the game, which was quite interesting, that he wasn't going to just sit back and soak up all the pressure and defend for their lives. He was going to give it a go, and that wasn't the case. But look, I think if anybody had told Ole before the game that, you know, they'll come away with 1 point, he would have snapped their hands off. You know, a point at Anfield, you know, is in the grand scheme of things, it's not so bad, right? Anfield is a fortress. People like Barcelona can go there and lose. You know, the biggest teams have died in Anfield. You know?
4-0, right?
I'm sorry, 4-0. Yeah, exactly. 4-0.
Yeah.
You know, so to go away to Anfield and get something is it's okay. Before the game, when I saw McTominay and Fred, I wasn't keen on that midfield pairing. Pogba on the right puzzled me, but I do have a suspicion that Ole does not trust him against teams that press very well. And he has dropped Pogba in some key games where the opposition, you know, likes to press fervently. And yeah, him playing at right wing was not the best move personally. He couldn't really influence the game like he would if he was in the middle of the park. But you know, look, I think we had the best chances to kill off the game. You know,
true. Very true.
A Bruno Fernandes chance. We had the Pogba chance near the end. You know, any of those go in, we would have had the 3 points because Liverpool were not going to score. There was a part in the game that really frustrated me, and I think probably that's why we didn't see him start in the next game, and that was with Rashford.
Right.
Cavani was running. You know, he had enough space to go one-on-one with the keeper, but Rashford, either he didn't trust Cavani's run or he just wasn't thinking. I don't think Rashford even looked up to see Cavani make the run. He just ran into a blind alley and then the attack was killed off. This thing can't happen long term because if you want to win titles, you have to be better at your decision making. The best teams have forwards that are elites at their decision making, and Rashford, I don't think he's quite there yet. You know, look, I'm a fan of Rashford. He's a local lad. I'm from Manchester. Rashford is from Manchester, so I will always have that sense of endearment towards him. You know, and he's doing a lot of good things off the pitch, but at the same time, he needs to step up with his decision making because that is something that you would expect from somebody that's fresh out of the academy. So I wasn't very happy at that. I think that Bruno, for all of the praise that he gets, you know, he's been a revelation since joining us. His pass completion apparently was 58% during the game. And again, you know, this is coaching. The coaches need to say, look, you need to cut this out. But I don't think somebody in the coaching staff is talking to him. I'm not sure, because you can't be giving away possession so cheaply. Yes, Bruno has got us out of jail in so many games, but I do think in the big games, he needs to really improve now and show us that he is the leader of the team. But overall, you know, I think a draw is a fair point. Liverpool had a lot of possession. We didn't take our chances. We were very sloppy. But I do think that we could have probably nicked it at the end. Yeah.
All right. Joe, come in. Man United, Liverpool.
I mean, yes, I think at the end of the day, I don't believe Ole necessarily set us up for draw. I just think, you know, he just didn't want to get embarrassed by Liverpool. So, yeah, I would say he would be guilty of giving them a little bit too much respect. But from what they were looking like, it didn't seem like they had that much bite. So I don't know if he had enough courage to then, like, see that and then say, all right, guys, last 20 minutes, let's fucking go at it, you know? Because I think if Pogba had scored that goal, if Alisson didn't make those two amazing saves, nobody would be saying that Ole set up for the tie, you know? I mean, there's a reason why they haven't lost there in 3 fucking years. You know, yes, Klopp is a better manager than Ole. I did not anticipate Henderson putting in some work. And two of the midfielders putting in some work at the center back position, you know? And they didn't really throw themselves out there either. They've been having some issues with their final third as well. So it seemed like it was just even. Nobody wanted to hurt each other, but then I think we were expecting them to have more, but we ended up having the better chance. So it feels like it was an opportunity lost. Right. Instead of a point game. Yeah.
There was a debate during the week of that game. Was Rashford selfish or was it poor play or selfish play? Richard.
I mean,
it was both. It was both. It was both poor and it was selfish as well. The poor was
finish, Richard. Richard, finish.
The poor was him not looking up, and then the selfish was him trying to dribble by himself. It was both for me.
I mean, if you look at the play again, Cavani actually runs past him, like in front of him, like directly in front. They almost run into each other. So the idea that like he was looking down, like it was just straight up selfish. And you know what? I kind of expect that from our forwards. You're a forward at United. If you want the ball and you want to be selfish, you got to pay off. And that's where he fucked up for me.
Chris.
Yeah.
I've seen, like what Richard's saying, I've seen this so many times with Rashford. It's just, you think to yourself, like, this guy's been playing football now, top level, it's been over 4 seasons. And these are not the mistakes you should be expecting for somebody who's consistently a seasoned pro at this level. And to me, I've seen, he does this so many times. He does these minefield runs. I don't know who he's trying to, he's not Messi, so I don't know what he's trying to do, but what he did in that game against Cavani, I'm sorry, but that is completely, that's not on. That's not team play. You will not win the league if you have a player who's behaving in such a way on the pitch. He should know better than that. He's been playing football for a long time. It's not good enough. Not good enough.
Bams.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what the guys been saying. Rashford does it all the time. He's been doing it for years. He's 23 years old now. I mean, he keeps doing it, and every single time, like, it's to the point where I'm just like, it's really annoying. I know he scores goals. I know he does all that, but if he can improve on his decision making, get his head up, because I think Rashford doesn't look up. He doesn't get his head up enough. That's one. And there are times when he gets his head up and he sees people making runs, but he decides not to do it. He's done it before. I mean, we're saying the same thing. He's done it before. He's gonna. And I don't know if Ole is telling him to do that, if the coaches are telling him to just keep doing what he's doing, because I can't imagine he's been doing this for years and it's still not rectified. Like, I'm sure that trying to coach, I'm sure they're telling him to look up and make that pass, but it's ridiculous. I do think if Rashford can improve that part of his game, we would get more goals in our forward line. We'll get way more goals than what we're getting right now, because the guy he's a good player. But yeah, it just, every time I think about it, it pisses me off, man. Yeah, he was selfish, and what's the other word? He was both. Yeah, terrible.
Right. Sammy from Houston Red Diamonds has joined us on the panel here. We have Richard from UK, Chris from UK, Bems, and Joe,
Yes.
Sammy, we've covered the Burnley game. We're just about finished the Liverpool game. We just finished. You could join us in the part. We just said, was Rashford selfish? Was that play selfish play or poor play for the pass to Cavani?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like a Rashford, decision making is really poor. We've been seeing them for years. So Rashford is one of the fastest players in the world. And our counter-attacking strategy, or our forwards, are kind of relying on him for a lot of time. And most of the time, he kind of put us down by, going for the glory. And sometimes he kind of like making decision like, run through the middle. It seems like, he could basically dribble past 5 or 6 defenders. That's not going to happen every time. All the other defenders, they also have their own way. They're also playing in the field. They're all professional footballers. So you can't just like dribble past 5 or 6 defenders and just go for glory all the time. So you have to also play as a team player, because football, and then it's a team play. It's a team game. It's not like something you can just score it from there. And again, I think somebody was talking about that game against Liverpool. I mean, easily we could have actually scored. I mean, Cavani could have scored a goal, because if you follow that counter attack, Cavani did everything right. He took the position on the left. It's totally Rashford was basically chasing down the ball. He kind of took all the three defenders on the right side. All he has to do is just to pass it to Cavani, and then Cavani would basically blast it in. Well, I mean, we could have won the game if it was not Rashford's poor decision that kind of cost us that thing, you know. So yeah, so I think Rashford, he's a good striker. He's obviously, he has potential to become a world-class player, but only his poor decision making and his kind of selfishness. You know, I had to say the word, because that lad did a lot of things for charity and other stuff, you know, of the field. But again, at some point, it thinks like he has to get rid of his selfish mindedness, and if he really wants to be a prolific striker for the rest of his career.
All right, thank you, Sammy. Now let's move on to the Fulham game. The Fulham game, United kind of were playing a team that 7 weeks ago were like the worst team, became a team that was so hard to beat. Richard, Man United, Fulham, United won 2-1. What was your take?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'd like to say that Scott Parker has turned the corner with Fulham. A few weeks ago, like you said, everybody was laughing at them. Nobody expected anything from them. But, you know, he seems to have settled the team and actually made them more difficult to beat.
Yeah.
So when we went there on Wednesday, I like the lineup. You know, the lineup was good. I didn't think that Fulham would give us such a hard game, but at the same time, you know, I think in the final third, we were a lot better than the Burnley and the Liverpool game, in my opinion. You know, Cavani, he's got years of experience. You know, he's played at the top level. He's played in Champions League. And that willingness to drive forward, you know, off the ball movement was there for all to see. And this is something that the younger forwards can actually learn from. He had a very good game. Pogba, absolutely brilliant. You know, I when I see Pogba play, for me, he's the complete midfielder. You know, he can dribble, you know, he can, pass the ball long range, short range, whatever you want. Pogba has it in his locker. In terms of ability, he's our most complete player. And it showed when he scored the goal with his weaker foot. You know, so again, you know, the thing about Ole is he has an abundance of talent to help him out. And this game showed with the key players, Cavani and Pogba stepping up. I do think that Fulham did make it hard for us in the first half, especially with Aaron Wan-Bissaka playing them on side. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he didn't have the best game. And he also needs to work on his attacking. I think
crosses.
Yeah, his crosses are not great. He's good one-on-one defensively, but when it comes to crossing and, you know, actually attacking, he's not the best. But, you know, I think the attacking side maybe can be worked on, but he didn't have the best game. But look, at the end of the day, the 3 points is what counts, you know? So we got 3 points. We move on to the next game. We're still at the top. I've still got my doubts about Ole. Can he maintain this on the long-term basis? I'm not so sure. He took a while to make substitutions in this game, I noticed. But look, we hang up. We stuck at it, and we got the 3 points. So that's what counts. I just think that Ole does need to be a bit more proactive with his substitutions. Mason Greenwood, he looks different this season. Something's going on. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't look the same. So maybe, you know, we need to nurture him, protect him a little bit more, maybe from the media. But something is not quite there like last season.
Right.
Yeah, I want to say with Mason Greenwood, I think I heard a story that his best friend took his life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I maybe that's what is affecting him. I don't know, but he's had some stuff to do this. He's had some stuff going on, especially what happened in the
England camp.
Yeah, in England camp. So yeah, maybe maybe that's what's affecting him. But yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Man United, Fulham.
Well, okay, that game was that was a good. Well, okay, we started off poorly. conceded the first goal.
We conceded a goal in 5 minutes.
And it's like, okay, here we go again. We concede and we have to fight. I was confident we're gonna come. I was confident that we were gonna come back, but I didn't like the fact that we always, especially in these away games, we concede and then we come back. But that's not sustainable. But again, we kept pushing and fighting. And Cavani, man, Cavani is he's a true striker, man. He's a true number 9. I mean, as they say, he's a fox in the box. He's gonna score. He's gonna smell those little areas and score those goals. He does that all the time. He's good at doing that. And then I think midfield wise, I think the way Ole set it up, in my opinion, I prefer it Fred and Pogba, and then Bruno up top. I think that midfield 3 against Fulham, my opinion, I think that's our best midfield 3, because you got you got Fred, who's gonna be up and down the pitch. He's gonna make the tackles. You got the creativeness from Pogba, and then you got well, and again, as Richard said, Pogba's a box-to-box midfielder that's got everything. Creative, he could defend, he could pass, he could dribble. I mean, he's everything. And then Bruno keeps doing his thing. So yeah, it was a good performance. And then again, Pogba's superb goal. I think we could have actually won that game 3-1 because there was a header. Yeah, there was a header from a Cavani.
Cavani and Martial.
Yeah.
And there's a Bruno shot hit the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a Bruno shot that hit the bar, but I think the one that was the one that could have gone in was the Cavani header. After I think we were 2-1 up at the time. If Cavani scores that's 3-1 is in for sure. That's game done and dusted. But I was comfortable that we were gonna leave that game with the 3 points just because. Yet, I mean, Fulham, the way they set the team up, I mean, they're very hard to break down, very, very hard. But the fact that we did break them down and it looked like we could have scored more goals, that's a positive. So yeah, I mean, again, we keep going. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I'm not gonna say Ole is at the wheel. I'm not saying that because again, we know what he does. I'm gonna keep repeating this. 4 semifinals, we're out, and we left the Champions League in the group stage. You guys keep that in your mind, man. Keep that in your mind. So let's see how this goes. Don't get too ahead of ourselves. Let's keep going. But yeah, good game on all.
Chris, Man United, Fulham.
Yeah, I'll go along with what most of the guys were saying. It was a good game. They played well in patches. Because initially when the game started, Fulham were on top. This is actually the first time I've seen Fulham. I was really impressed. I was really impressed. They were tactically set up right. The organization was there in the team. The structure was right. The defensive backline were always catching out. I think they caught out Rashford quite a lot of times, but not Rashford, it was someone else. But yeah, the organization at the back, you could see that they were well-functioned unit at the back there. And it really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that from Parker. But
me too.
Where they are in the table at the moment, I'll be surprised if they continue being there. Because Fulham really surprised me. They really pushed Man United all the way. The way to the point where they had to bring on Matic for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm telling you. But to me, I was a bit concerned about the midfield because I saw. Don't get me wrong, Paul Pogba and Fred. That's dynamic, but you don't really have somebody sitting in there. And you could see it in the Fulham game. Fulham were pressing Man United. There were so many times they were pressing them and they were getting in. Because you could see Man United midfield, they were finding holes, they were finding gaps all the time. And I was very, very concerned about that. I actually thought that in the second half, he should have brought on Matic. He should have taken off somebody, whether it's Fred or whoever, but he should have brought on Matic in order to stabilize things because Fulham, they picked up on the fact that Man United didn't have anybody who's sitting right in front of the defense because Fred and Pogba, they go up and down. Fred and Pogba go up and down all the time. But I was also, in that game, I was also really impressed with Cavani, which is not really a surprise. I think that he's going to be one of the key players to help Man United if they're going to win this title. I still have huge question marks about it. But I do believe that Cavani is going to have a huge influence on how the season ends for Man United. And you can see now that Paul Pogba, as I don't know what it is, but he's coming much more into his element, mainly because the team has got that, which is what we've mentioned. They've got that mentality. There's something different about them this season. I don't know what it is. We'll find out further down the line whether it was actually it's a mental thing, or I don't know whether Ole is the genius who we never thought he was, but we'll see anyway. But yeah, this is the win against Fulham was a win going back last season. I don't think Man United would have won it. I don't think Man United would have won it. But going forward, Pogba is going to be really key, and you can see he's really coming into his own now. He's really standing out in his performances. I believe also Cavani will be crucial as well. And I also think that Bay has to be playing more games at the back there, because we cannot continue with Lindelof and Maguire long term. That does not work. It's been proven time and time and again in the past that it does not work. I don't know why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keeps dropping Bay and then bringing in Lindelof, whether it's his best partnership, Lindelof and Maguire. Anybody can see this. Even a blind man will tell you Lindelof and Maguire does not work. He needs to stop doing this. If he continues doing that, it's going to hinder the team long term. He needs to really think about this. It's important, whether McKenna speaks to him or Carrick, whoever. They need to drill it in him and tell him, personally for me, like Rich, Lindelof and Bay should be starting. They should be starting. And I want to see Tellers playing a bit more games. But all in all, they're top of the table. I'm not going to get excited. Like what Ben said, 4 semi-final defeats. He's right. He's right. We let's just see what happens. Let's not get too excited. There's a long way to go. It's going to be a bumpy ride up until May. Let's see what happens.
All right. Sammy, Man United Fulham, quickly.
Yeah. So again, it was a good game. We couldn't expect that we're going to concede a goal within 5 minutes. I predicted 2-0 because I knew that Fulham played really well lately. They actually drew against Chelsea the game before they played Manchester United. So they're in a really good form. Scott Parker actually did a really good job. Their defense is very packed, especially against the big teams. They know how to defend. So that's why when they went 1-0, it was a little shaky, I guess, from defense perspective. Again, it was Wan-Bissaka's fault. It was Wan-Bissaka's fault. And the reason the striker was fast, because our defense thought of they're going to make the offside trap, which didn't work, because to be honest with you, Maguire is still a slow defender. Okay. But so he couldn't cover that. It was Wan-Bissaka's fault, but again, the thing is like that. I feel like our defense was actually slow. Okay, let me finish. Okay. So then the next thing is like, when we started like that, when we considered the goal, the 5 minutes, then we should have actually. It's not like that we held back. Okay, we kind of keep pressing. We control the midfield. There are some situation where our defense, especially Maguire, he was actually playing box to box. So we're literally kind of controlling the game. After we, it's not like that we kind of just played really bad. And it was always, it's fall. I mean, if it was not Cavani, I don't think so. You would have scored in the first half. So it's because of Cavani, I think we scored the first goal. It was a good cross from Bruno, but Cavani, if it is, Cavani kind of, got to the correct position where he should be. So that's kind of signifies he's a box striker. Then after second half, I think we started well, but again, it was Pogba's moment of magic. It's his brilliance. There's some kind of the Pogba which we have been actually waiting for to see for a long time. And finally, it seems like he started playing well. Okay, and it seems like we got that team combination right. Still, I agree with people that Lindelof and Maguire shouldn't start. We should start with Eric Bailly most of the occasions. I still feel Ole kind of inclined to Lindelof and Maguire. Seems like, he likes that combination, even if that's not the perfect combination in defense. And we don't know we're going to get any defenders for this January transfer window. So I guess we're going to just go with this. So that's the one thing. But one thing that will make the difference, okay? It's not about skills. We have world-class players, okay? But this season is different than others because something what Ole did, even I'm a big critic of Ole. Even if I support him, I don't think so. He's still a mediocre manager. Okay, he didn't win a trophy. He lost 4 semi-finals. But one thing, it's not Ole did. I think he brought a good vibe in the dressing room. Okay, that's why players are unified. We back each other. We know what to do. Even if our shoulders are down, even if we trailing 1-0, we know how to come back. That's also important. It's only skills is not gonna win you the trophy. It also important is not in skills and coach tactics. It's also important for your mindset. So we shouldn't forget that. I know it's a long way to go, but that mindset will definitely make us a good competitor for the title challenge. We are not champion yet, just halfway through, still 19 more games to play. But I guess one thing Ole did, and that's why I'm keep supporting him, even if he's a mediocre manager. He made so many flaws in tactics and substitution, and I personally I didn't support that, some of them, but still he was able to unify the team, and we are seeing that there is a different perspective in the team, especially their morals are high. They're doing in practice session and other areas. So, and Pogba, I mean, he's talking positively in front of press. Okay, this season I'm seeing a different Pogba when he was talking to press. To be honest with you, and totally that's my personal opinion. But I've seen some kind of a positive vibe. So I think that will definitely help us out. So in a nutshell, Fulham game was a good game, and definitely I'm looking forward to have a few more games in future.
Thanks, Sam. Joe, quickly round up Man United Fulham.
Pretty solid game. Yes, we're not all huge fans of the Maguire and Lindelof duo, but I think that's really that's Ole's management style. I think if you notice, it's like he's like, if you earn yourself a spot on the team, then that spot is yours to lose. And even if you're injured, Ole just automatically assumes that you're gonna get your spot back whenever you come back, and that's just how it is. And yeah, it was a pretty shitty goal to concede, but Lindelof actually had a pretty decent game that game. Yes, it was a mess up. Yes, but I think with the way he responded with the rest of the game, they really didn't even get too close to us again after that. Pretty much shut him out. He's probably going to maintain his spot on that roster. I don't think
it was Lindelof that played the game.
It was Bailly.
Liverpool Maguire.
Lindelof played Liverpool game. Joe.
Okay.
We're talking about the Fulham game.
My bad. Scratch that. Yeah. We'll edit that. All right. Post. All right. No. Okay. Yes, we then responded very nicely after conceding the first goal. Right? Yes. I think they just fell asleep and they snuck one on us, but it was a good response from the team. Good response from Cavani. Yes, he's gonna be that dude. Other than having Fred, I heard somebody else mention that yes, you would prefer to have a holding midfielder. Yes, I feel the same way too. The thing is about Matic has not been looking as solid as I would like him to. That defensive midfielder position needs somebody that's got to be a lot faster, especially if you're going to have someone like Lindelof if he's playing in the center back position. So other than that, I thought it was a pretty decent game. Great strike by Pogba.
Cavani.
Great goal.
Yeah.
And can't really complain. It's yes. The same thing with Greenwood. I don't know what's going on. I think Greenwood's going to end up losing the spot to Rashford because I'm starting to see Ole now really just looking more for Rashford.
He's already lost it to Rashford
position. Say what?
He's already lost it to Rashford. Is one.
Yeah. It's looking like it because
I mean,
I don't think Rashford plays. I don't think Rashford's ceiling at that position is higher than Greenwood. I think Greenwood's ceiling is significantly higher because of his. It just seems more natural to Greenwood to be on that side, but he's gonna have.
Yeah, but Greenwood is not a right winger
up.
though. Greenwood,
right.
But Greenwood's not a right winger though. Greenwood's a center forward. He's not. To me, in my opinion, Greenwood is not really good on the right. Greenwood should be playing up top, but the reason why he's not
Greenwood,
going to play up top is because you have Cavani and Martial. Greenwood's not a right winger.
If Greenwood wants to play up top, he has to get significantly better at his ability to hold up the ball, or he needs to leave the squad to go play forward somewhere else. I understand he's 19 years old and everything, but what
Yeah, but Greenwood, the way Greenwood is Greenwood is 19. He's young. There's still time for him to take that center forward position. Right now, you got Cavani, you got Martial. They're ahead of him. So in order for him to develop, he has to develop on the right side. That's just the way it is. But time is in few games here and there. You probably will get games up top, but Greenwood's not a right winger, man.
But didn't he play in the same position last season? Because he scored tons of goals.
Yes, he did. The reason, my opinion, a right winger should not only be able to score goals, you should be able to assist. You should be able to provide assist from that right or left wing position.
Right.
My opinion.
Yes.
Greenwood cuts to his left too much.
Yes.
Just like Rashford cuts to his right too much on that right side. It's predictable. That's why I say,
and he's not
missing. And again, that's why I say there are more of forwards than actual wingers. Like just in my opinion. So that's the way I look at it, man. If you're a winger, you should be able to provide assists, like cross the ball from the right side or from the left side, and chip in and score goals.
Right.
Right.
All right, guys. So
I think maybe Greenwood might be a little bit of a victim of having a right back that he can't really fucking work with. You know, like whoever's playing on the left side, whether Rashford or Martial, if it's either Shaw or Telles, there is significant levels, as far as working with somebody going forward. Greenwood being 19, you can't. I mean, it sucks that the most inexperienced side is on the right side as far as us going forward.
True.
So I'm not going to put it all on him.
Right. So now that United are literally officially in a title chase, can you see United winning the title? Richard, round me up.
No.
No.
Not with this manager. No. Before the conversation, I was talking about let's look to facts. Okay, the facts are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has bottled 4 semi-finals. When the going gets tough, the team bottle it, and that is down to coaching. It's down to the mentality from the coaching staff that seeps through to the players. Okay, the Champions League was another key example, and this definitely tells me that Ole, for me, is not the right guy moving forward. We had 9 points. We were top of the Champions League group with 9 points, right? With 2 games to spare. But when the pressure was on at the crunch time, what happened? We went out. So I can only go by what I've seen from this manager. So based on what I've seen with Ole over the past few, since he's joined us, I don't think we'll win the league. I do think we'll make top 4. We'll make Champions League next season, but we're not going to win the league. I think that would be City.
Sammy.
Well, to be honest with you, at this moment, I'm still optimistic about winning the league. It's not because I'm going to compare it with our 4th semi-final loss, because that's a cup game. Again, this is a league. And if you consider the way we finished the league last season, where was we? I mean, just fill me in. I mean, when the COVID hit, that time we were like 7th and 8th. Then COVID restarted, and then we kind of finished at 3rd.
It's because of Bruno, man. It's because of Bruno.
Hold on. Let me finish. Okay, Bruno is still here.
We didn't get Bruno. We don't finish 3rd.
Dude, Bruno is still here. So that's why if Bruno is here, if Bruno could take us from 7th and 8th position to 3rd within a span of 3 months, now halfway through, when was the last time halfway through a top of the league? And Bruno is still here, okay? He's not going anywhere. Okay, so if you're in the top of the league, the same man could help us out to retain the spot and win the title. Okay, so it doesn't matter where we are. Yeah, definitely.
But Bruno can't do everything by himself, though. He needs tactics from his manager.
He needs tactics. Everything is there. Okay, again, it's my opinion. Again, You can keep your opinion also. Let me keep mine. Okay, that's how the conversation will go on. Otherwise, it will go nowhere. Okay, if you and I will agree to anything, everything, then nobody will listen to Tim Russell's channel. Okay,
that's right. Sammy, you tell him.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's the thing. So again, I'm gonna hold on to my thought. Again, the same thing. I still believe that we have with the current team we have, the current squad we have, we can still go on top and we can retain the spot. Maybe there'll be like a tussle between 1 to 3. You know, for sure. It will be very tough. You know, like when the things will get going tough, we have to show our tough mentality. We have to show the resilience, great determination. I saw that in this particular team. That's why I'm still gonna, not gonna put my money on that, but I'm still gonna put my prediction that we can go for this title.
Okay. Sure. Thank you, Sammy. Chris.
No, I can't see Man United win the league. I can't see it. I mean, the thing with me is, like what Richard was saying, you have to look at what's happened in the past since he's been there. When it comes to the crunch games, when it comes to the crucial games, when the pressure's on, when it's squeaky bum times, Man United have choked every single time. We go back to the Europa League, they choked. Champions League this season, they messed up. I don't know how is it even possible that a group they were completely in control of and then everything just collapses in front of us. It was a catastrophe. There's no way that an elite coach for that kind of a position would not qualify. It doesn't make any sense. And then you look at things like he makes substitutions. So it's very bizarre. The time frame in which he makes the substitutions doesn't make any sense. Some of his lineups are just very, very unusual. I don't know where they come from. Like, for example, the Liverpool game, Pogba, that's just one example. There's many, many other examples. And you're talking about the situation, centre-backs. Everybody can see that Maguire and Lindelof is not a good pairing. But yeah, he keeps playing them time and time again. I guarantee you, moving forward, they're going to cost us in a big game. And it's also, if you look at the league this season, Man United haven't beaten any of the top teams in the league. We have to be honest about this. They haven't beaten any of the top teams. And another key thing for me is they don't control games. They win games in moments of magic due to the fact that they have a lot of quality in the team. This is, if you're talking about the squad, this is probably the best squad we've had since when Sir Alex Ferguson won the league. There's a lot of quality in that squad. With that kind of a squad, an elite coach would have won the league by now. It's not good enough. Solskjaer, it's not simply not good enough. That's why I'm extremely doubtful that he's going to win the league. Yes, it's so nice at the moment, rosy daisy, whatever you want to call it. But there's a long way to go, and I don't actually see him win the league. I don't.
All
right, Chris. Right, I'm going to leave Ben for the last. Joe.
So did you have the same feeling that? Okay, so my friend, did you have the same feeling at the beginning of the season that, or some rosy days of rainbow in a unicorn, that we're going to go on top of the league?
No, I didn't think they would. I didn't think they would. So but the thing is, though, it's all about where you are in May. It's all about where you are in May. Trophies are not handed out in January.
It's true. It's not handed in January, but you also said the same thing, that the Kohli is gonna get sacked by Christmas. That's not gonna happen yet.
Okay. Hey, maybe I got him. I mean, the juju man's helping.
But that don't mean
that's a good thing for him.
Anyway, nothing personal, man. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah.
Joe.
Okay.
Can United win the title?
For sure. United can definitely win the title this season. If you listen to Pogba's last interview that he did after the Fulham game, you can tell he's sold on the process. He's sold on where. I would have never said this at the beginning of the season. With that transfer window, hell no. We thought remember when we thought like the world was gonna end and Sancho didn't show up? It was like, oh my gosh, Sancho didn't show up, we're done, you know?
Yep. And Ole's gonna get sacked in a few months.
Only supposed to be done by Christmas, right, Bems?
Oh yeah.
Now the thing about it is, I'm giving Ole the benefit of the doubt because, man, he's pulling it out the bag. You gotta look at the evidence.
The bag yet. No trophies have been won.
What I understand.
See, Joe. Based on history,
sir, I reclaim my time, please. I reclaim my time. Thank you.
Go on, Joe. Speak.
No, okay, go ahead, Joe. I'm messing with you, man.
Yes. Ole seems to be overachieving with the way everybody's talking about the guy, even though he's trust me, I was just as gutted as everyone else with that Champions League exit, right? And right. I also feel Ole is not the one moving forward, right? But that does not mean I'm going to be I am uber pessimistic about this team and United going forward. But I just feel like this team, I have never seen a team play for the manager like this in 8 years, right? And that meant they're missing the things that they've been missing as far as regards to the manager is that mental aspect. I'm seeing it. It's not all there, right? We're not talking. This is not the same. This is not to say this is the kind of team where you concede early and they're like with Man City, they'll just slap you with another 5 with no response. But I'm seeing the team fight for this guy. And if they're as talented as you think they are, if they fight for this guy, we actually could pull it off. Not saying that we are going to. I'm saying we have a shot.
Right. I take your point. Let me run to Ben's and round this up, Ben.
Well, you guys know my opinion. Ain't happening, brothers. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I don't see it. I really don't see what Joe and Sammy see. I really don't see it. I can't see it. But from what I like to go from past results, from what I've seen in semifinals, not one, not two, not three, but 4. In the Champions League, we were 9 points. I mean, we were favorites to win that group. How the hell do we lose 2 games back to back and go out? And yes, I know we're at the top of the league right now, but you guys got to understand too is that Liverpool's inconsistent. They're not scoring goals. Man City were inconsistent in the beginning of the season. Now it looks like they're getting back form. They've been winning games. In my opinion, City at this point are favorites to win the league, the way it is. Number 2, the way Ole sets his team up, again, I still do not see a clear system, a clear style of play. We will rely on moment of brilliance from time to time. We fall back. We concede we concede goals, and then we have to come back and win the game. We don't necessarily take control of games from the get-go. Now, if you look at teams that have won the Premier League, they were able to come back from behind, and they also play games where they took control of the games within first half games over.
Okay.
Now, the only time that I saw us do that was against Leeds. I haven't seen us do it since then. My opinion. Okay. Then again, Ole is in the fact that he keeps playing Maguire and Lindelof. If you notice, when he plays Maguire and Lindelof, he plays he plays McTominay and Fred
behind
always in front of him to protect them, and then he tells Wan-Bissaka and Shaw to tuck in to protect them again. So playing McTominay and Fred is not going to provide enough creativity from the midfield position to help the attack, because Fred and McTominay are not creative midfielders. It's only Bruno. So you need Pogba in that team to give you more creativity. You need Pogba playing from that center in that midfield pivot with Fred or with Matic or whatever. You need Pogba playing. So and again, we all say the same thing. Bailly needs to play more games, because when Bailly plays, we play a higher line, and when you play a higher line, you're able to commit more players forward. And when you commit more players, you create more chances and you can score more goals. So, I mean, I always fall back to what I've seen in semifinals. He has bottled it so many times yes, we're the top of the league, but you also got to remember that the league is not like teams are not really consistent this season.
Right.
So if we sustain the injury to Bruno or Pogba, let me just say this: we sustain the injury to Bruno. This is not going to continue because everything goes through Bruno. Every single thing goes through Bruno. That's why his pass percentage is not high, because in fact, Ole even said this in his press conference a couple of days ago. He says the way Bruno plays, I tell him to play that way. I say he says Bruno Bruno has to create. So all those shots and those passes that keep getting intercepted, it is Ole telling Bruno to play that. But which tells me Ole relies a lot on Bruno.
Right.
So I mean, so I could keep going on and on and on and on. Yes, we're the top of the league.
We know we're
doing well, but I'm sorry, guys, but I just don't see us winning the league. Yes, we're gonna get top 4. I agree with Richard on that. We're gonna get top 4, but I think sooner or later City is gonna overtake us, and yeah.
All right. Tomorrow's a big game against Liverpool. I just want your quick predictions, and we will call it a day. Richard, Man United, Liverpool tomorrow.
Are we away again or are we at home? Sorry.
Home. It's a home game.
It's a home game.
Okay. I'm gonna say that we'll win. I think we'll win 2-1. Liverpool are not on good form, so I think we'll win.
Chris.
Yeah, United win. I'll go. They win in extra time.
Sammy.
I'll predict 2-1, given that Liverpool is not doing well. I will go for 2-1 and again home game, so we actually have a clear shot of winning this game.
Joe.
If it depends on the lineups, but I'm looking at us winning this game, especially if Liverpool will still sustain injuries in their center back position, and as long as Keita doesn't come back and they still got Wijnaldum, I think we can definitely boss and take over that midfield. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to dominate that game with the injuries they have. So 2-1 United.
Bams.
Okay, I don't think we're gonna boss the game. I think we're gonna same tactics, soak up the pressure, hit them on the break, standard procedure against these big teams. I think we can win the game. It's a tough one. Liverpool they're not on form right now. They're not scoring goals, so that goes into our advantage.
They haven't scored in 4 games.
So that's good for us. So I give us the edge. I would say 1-0, man. I would say 1-0. We soak up, hit him on the break, and score a goal, and sit back. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Guys, thank you very much. Chris from UK, Richard, thank you, UK. Really appreciate the UK crew. Houston Red Army, thank you, guys. Sammy, Joe, Bam, see you guys
Thanks,
tomorrow.
guys.
So
take care, guys.
Hopefully this season can continue. We'll enjoy it as long as we can enjoy it. If they win the title, hey, we'll all be dancing in May. But we just have to be positive.
Dems will sing always at the
I don't know. Are we all going to be dancing?
Oh, no. See,
I'll dance, bro.
I promise I'll keep my side of the bet. If we win the league, I'll sing the Ole at the wheel for you guys.
I will dance, bro. If they win the title, I'm going to dance. I'll give you a full
I'll join you for moonwalk.
All right, guys. See you guys. UK.
Yeah,
Houston Red Army.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Awesome.